On the 25th of August 2020, Kyle Rittenhouse was involved in the shooting of 3 men. That night, some protesting had evolved into rioting, and Kyle was there as he'd been asked to be there to protect property owned by a local family. The police were aware that Kyle and some other men would be there to protect property that night, and Wisconsin is an open carry state. This did not go down very well with the protesters and rioters. Of the people that were there that night defending property, they had agreed only to go out in pairs. At one point during the night, Kyle was separated from his pair for around 26 seconds. During this period, a man who had been confrontational earlier in the night, Joseph Rosenbaum, began to chase after Kyle. As Rittenhouse ran across the car park with Rosenbaum in chase, Joshua Zeminski fired one round, the first round to be shot that night. Rosenbaum had also thrown something at Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse turns around and points his gun in the direction of Rosenbaum, who then puts his hands up, but then he carries on chasing Kyle. Kyle gets to a corner and he sees around the corner around 100 protesters. He turns around and sees Rosenbaum bearing down on him from about 5 feet away. Rosenbaum reaches for the gun. We saw the DNA and the prints on the gun in court, and this is when Kyle shoots him 4 times in 0.7 of a second. He then pauses for a second and rings his friend and asks him what to do. His friend tells him to go to the police. As Kyle was going to the police, he was chased down by a group of the protesters, and many people were shouting, "Get him, cranium, his ass." Kyle was hit in the head, on the back of the head, and collapsed to the ground. Then a guy then ran up and did a sort of flying kick into him, and he was also attacked by a man with a skateboard. The man with the skateboard was Anthony Huber. He ended up shooting Anthony Huber. As Anthony Huber attacked him with a skateboard, he fell onto the ground on Kyle. As he was getting up, he tried to pull the gun away from Kyle, and that was when Kyle shot him twice. During this time, Gage Grosskratz was also running up to Kyle. He stopped as he realized that Kyle had now got full control of his weapon and was starting to sit up. Gage had a gun himself, and he stopped and put his hands in the air. Kyle then lowers his gun as he had raised it towards him as he saw him running up to him. Gage Grosskratz then pointed the gun at Kyle's face, rushed him, and tried to grab the barrel of Kyle's gun. And it was at this point that Kyle Rittenhouse shot him in the arm. He then made his way to the police.